Okay, so for lab exercise order even, we're going to write a function that prints order even depending on the number you pass to it. Hint, remember how to determine if a number is order even? We divide it by 2. And when we divide it by 2, if that number returns 0 as a remainder, i.e. we're using the modulo operator, then that number is either odd or even. Okay, so we're going to write some Python program that tests your function by asking the user to enter a number. And we're going to send this number to your function and see the result. Okay, so what you're starting to see a pattern of where refactoring some of our old assignments, our old labs, and we're writing them in the context of a function. Okay, so I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to call this odd or even function. Odd even function. Okay, and so the first thing that we should do, again, we should define our functions because that should go at the top of your program. Okay, so I'm going to start by defining my function. I'm going to call this function odd or even. Okay, and this function is going to accept one parameter. Okay, it only needs one parameter. So I'm going to call this parameter num. Okay, and inside of the body of my function, I'm going to write an algorithm that checks if the number is odd or even. You already know how to do this. Okay, so we're going to use a conditional statement because we need to check if, we're going to say if num modulo 2 is equal to 0, meaning the number that's being inputted, if it's divided by 2 and it returns 0, then we want to return, actually we could just say print num. We don't need a return value. We could just say print even. Sorry, we could say print even. If that number doesn't return 0 as a remainder, then that is most certainly false. So we could say print false. Okay, and that is our function. Now, next thing that we should do, we should ask the user to insert a number, right? So we're going to create a variable. We're going to call this user input. Okay, we're going to typecast that into an integer. We're going to ask, or we're going to request that the user enter a number. So we're going to say enter a number. Alright. And so after we have asked the user to enter a number, we're going to invoke our function or call our function. Okay, so we're going to say odd or even. And for our argument, we're going to use whatever the user input is. So that's what we're going to use as an argument. So I'm going to say user input. Okay, and the reason why I'm not wrapping this odd or even function call inside of a print function is because I'm already using print inside of my function definition. If these were returned instead of print, and then I would need to wrap my function call inside of a print. Okay, so again, because I'm not using the return, I do not need to wrap my function call inside of a print function. And so let's run our program. And let's run this program. It's going to say enter a number. Okay, and I want to check if 10 is even or odd. And so that's going to tell me 10 is even. How about 11? Is 11 even or odd? And that is most certainly, sorry, I said false instead of odd. So let's run again. 11. Oops. Well, same thing. 11 is most certainly odd. Okay. How about 4? 4 is even. What about 7? 7 is also odd. Okay, and so again, we defined our function. Our function accepted one parameter. Okay, we wrote an algorithm inside of our function definition to check if the number divided by 2 returns 0. If it does, that is going to be an even number. If it doesn't return 0 as a remainder, then that is odd. We ask the user to enter an input or a number, and we use that user input as our function order even as an argument. Okay, and so that is lab exercise order even.